Well, Realist News back in the house for your 6:30 in the morning Eastern Time update. It just gets worse and worse. A record 32% of used car trade-ins are actually underwater, so to speak. Zero hedge. We have frequently written about the unsustainable trends in new car sales in the United States created by the combination of lower rates, easing underwriting, especially easing underwriting standards, and voracious demand for new securitizations by Wall Street and pension funds that will do just about anything for an extra 20 basis points of yield. This week, we find that, according to the latest Edmunds data, many of the same problems also afflict the used auto market. This week, startling takeaway from the report is that the percentage of used cars being traded in with negative equity values, which means that dealers lending are willing to accept an immediate loss for new transactions, continues to rise and currently stands at an all-time high 32.4%, which is, by the way, up from under 20% in 2009. Moreover, the average balance of the negative equity also continues to rise and stood at a record $5,130 last year, up over a quarter from $4,075 just a decade earlier. This confirms that banks and finance companies are making riskier loans to keep up revenue as vehicle sales slow. And here's why. The record percentage of underwater loans on trade-ins suggests, wait a minute. The percentage of underwater loans on trade-ins suggests that car owners are trading in their vehicles sooner than they'd done so previously. According to a Bloomberg report, a consumer is often the most underwater on his or her auto loan in the first few years of ownership because the value of the vehicle drops faster over that time. And I'm just going to tell you, I had some guests over this weekend. We went out to Ybor City Saturday night. Kids were over at a friend's house. Me and the wife, him and his girlfriend, had a good time. And when Bill and his wife come over late February, FYI, Bill, I'm going to have them come over. We're going to go out and do something too. Have a good little time. But this is when I remember when I said, guys, I just gave my dad the old Crown Victoria X police car, his car was having problems. I went out and got a Nissan Leaf, 2015 Nissan Leaf, 14,000 something miles on it. $10,000 from an actual dealership that specializes in electric vehicles and hybrids and stuff. So I got this at $10,000 from them, not a private sale, which would have been a little bit cheaper normally. And we were just talking about that with the guests that were over here. Like, man, could you imagine if I bought that car brand new at $30,000? I just got the damn thing for 2/3 off, 2/3 discount, 2 years old. That's what I'm talking about. This is why I just have a super hard time going out and buying a brand new vehicle ever. And I keep telling myself, oh, well, when you make it big in cryptos, maybe I'll go buy a new car. And my brain still says that's going to be difficult. That's going to be real difficult just because who the hell wants to buy something and lose value? Again, why not? Cliff High could easily buy a brand new vehicle. And what did he say the other day? Oh, I bought one that's a few years old, lower miles, 40, 50,000. I think it was 44,000 miles, something like that, on his truck, dually or whatever it was. Makes sense. It just makes sense. But imagine trading the vehicle in, and you're underwater, and the dealer essentially is going to say, here's your new car that you just traded this for, and they're going to pile on the difference that you owe onto that new loan. That's usually how that works, which sucks, which then makes me ask, why the hell are people doing this? And if you're listening right now who do that, why the hell are you doing that? Well, I just got to have a new car. I want a new car. Okay, how about a newer car, a couple years old? Again, you get such a big discount. Our van we got was also 2 years old. Chrysler Town and Country Touring. Went over to look at some Honda Odysseys and didn't exactly have anything we liked, but they just had a brand new trade-in that came in, and it was that. I'm like, oh, let's go look at it. It had all the bells and whistles and the little DVD player for the kids and all that. I'm like, my wife, like, I really like it. What the hell? We got it. That car is about $38,000 brand new. 2 years old, $23,000. Okay, thank you. We'll take it. Like, again, I don't care if I'm filthy rich or not. My brain just can't do that. Go buy a brand new one for $38,000. Why? What's wrong with one that's 2 years old? But to each his own, right? That's what you do. That's what you do. And that's the crap you're going to deal with every time you go to trade it in. Oh, it's time for a new car. Oh, you're underwater. We'll just add it to the new one. You know, it's just, I don't know. I'm trying to do these videos to teach you all the lessons sometimes. Like, don't do some of these stupid things, you know? Do yourself a favor. As Bloomberg explains, for borrowers who do trade in their underwater cars, lenders are essentially giving them the money to pay down their loan. The dealer sells the used car, and whatever balance remains on the old loan is folded into the new loan. The borrower might get a longer term loan, or longer, again, 7-8 year loans now is normal, when 5 years was the normal for the longest time. 60 months. How about 72 months? How about 80 months? What do you need? Because all they tell you is, well, what do you need your payment to be? I'm trying to get around $275 a month. Oh, okay, all right. Here's an 8-year loan for you. It meets your requirements, right? Not exactly. I was kind of thinking I'd have this paid off in a few years. Not 8 years from now when the car is falling apart. You know, how stupid. The borrower might get a longer term loan than he or she had before to help keep monthly payments manageable. That means the loan balances are getting bigger relative to the value of the new car, and the debt will be paid off slower. Confirming this, Moody's analyst Jason Grohotalski notes that the growing proportion of underwater trade-ins means that at least some borrowers are getting deeper and deeper into debt with every car they buy. This will eventually translate to a bigger and bigger losses on loans for finance companies whenever the economy heads south. The same way lower down payments slammed mortgage lenders after the credit and housing bubbles burst. Quote, it's this cycle that just continually gets worse and worse, he said. It has to stop, and it doesn't have a favorable outcome. Meanwhile, the average used car price continues to rise and stood at $19,400 as of quarter 3 2017. This suggests that since most people simply roll their negative equity into their new loans, many used car buyers are likely sitting on loans where 15 to 20% of their outstanding balance simply reflects their negative equity from the previous car. But wait, there's more. Despite rising average used car prices and rising negative equity, average monthly payments for used cars have managed to stay pretty much flat since quarter 3 2011. Obviously, monthly payments are determined by 3 variables: beginning loan balance, interest rate, and term. While interest rates have, at least until recently, come down since 2011, they haven't declined nearly enough to offset a $2,800 increase in starting principal balance, which indicates that, like new car loans, used car loan terms are getting stretched out further and further to manage monthly payments. Again, 5 years become 6-year loans, become 7-year, now 8 years, like completely normal. I can't wait to hear, I can't wait to hear 10-year loans on a freaking car. And you look back in the very beginning of the 1900s, and it was normal to have a mortgage on your house, at best 10 years, 8 years, 5 years, some of them 10 years. And back then people would put 50% down on the house and then pay off the rest over that period of time. You're telling me a freaking car, we're inching closer and closer to that kind of thing? Come on. But that's what I'm telling you. Record underwater trade-ins are just one of many facets of the deteriorating U.S. auto market, which has been slowing down in the past year. And in 2017, new vehicle sales fell 1.8% to 17.2 million in 2017. The first decline, by the way, since 2009. Even as loan volumes for new and used car purchases was on track to be higher than ever, suggesting more trouble lies ahead. Moody's said that the growth in the average amount financed for a new car outpaced median income growth between 2013 and 2016, suggesting borrowers again are getting more strained. This is all due to less disposable income. And why do people have less disposable income? The car thing isn't helping. Have a car, it's underwater, but I want a new effing car. Good, go get a loan. They attach the remaining balance to the end of that new loan. Now you owe even more. On top of that, rent sky high, mortgage fees, monthly prices because the house is so high, sky high. That's the biggest killer of all, leaving you with a tiny amount of disposable income. This is why I love focusing on cryptocurrency so much. When we were out last night, we took Uber down to Ybor City. They had the little Gasparilla parade. We ate, walked around, had some drinks. Then went to Ybor City after that. Had a couple more drinks over there just to have a good little time. And then we came home. But each time we used Uber, we had to talk about cryptocurrencies. And they were quite interested. And the last guy, don't get out of the car yet. Tell me your YouTube channel yet. What was that site? Coinbase, Coin One? I was like, all right. He's like, I'll text it to my other phone. Just type it in for me. So I typed it in. Hopefully he's watching. Because I do talk about cryptos. I talk about which ones I'm going to get into and yada, yada, yada. Because these things are changing people's lives. Imagine being able to be in one of these freaking underwater car loans, owing way more than it's worth because the last car before that, you had to get those loans out to the end of that loan, and then that last car onto that one, your new one. And all of a sudden, your crypto portfolio is up 10 times. Oh my God, just paid the whole car off. Now I'm square back down to nothing with debt, no car payments, whatever. I do have some more disposable income to play with now. All right, that, my friends, is the name of the game. Take care.